Hey guys, I'm hoping that this video works out. I'm actually sitting on the floor filming this because I am going to be doing a palette March Madness showdown, but of course you're filming this in April. This is inspired by itsJustSteph. I love the series that she did. I thought it'd be fun. I just wasn't able to do mine in March, so this is round one. I have almost 100 palettes. I can't remember exactly how many, and I put all of the names in the Wheel of Names app, and then I chose two to battle it out. Well, the wheel chose two to battle it out. So this is round one. I'm going to be going quickly and hopefully the lighting will be okay here. So first to the Inslee Rain Lands of Enchantment palette, and this is versus the Odin's Eye Christmas Eve palette. I actually haven't even used the Inslee Rain yet, but based on the color selection, I think I'm going to like this more. For the next two palettes, we have Unearthly Cosmetics Fall Magic versus Huda Beauty Desert Dusk. This was actually really hard for me because I love the both of them. These are definitely colors I would wear a lot, but I do think this is like a little bit more unique and fun, and there were a couple looks that I did with this palette that I absolutely fell in love with, so I'm going to pick the Unearthly. Next we have Lunar Beauty Moon Spell versus the LA Girl Under the Palms. This is a really amazing formula, but I am going to go with the Moonspell. And I don't even totally love this palette as a whole, but there were a few looks in here that I absolutely love, whereas I have these shades 100 times over. It's just in a pretty good drugstore formula. Next we have It's Belle Cosmetics Cool Summer versus LA Girl Hot Hot Heat, the Vacay Everyday palette, and I am going to pick It's Belle. These are more fun. I really love that top row. Out of here, I love the metallics, but the mattes are not that special, so I'm gonna pick this one. Next, we have the Oma Beauty Coming to America Royal Heritage palette versus Sigma New Mod. I'm gonna pick Sigma. I really like the shades in here and the quality. I haven't used this in a little while. I need to pull it back out because I know that these shades were really fantastic. I just think that I would use New Mod a little bit more. Next, I have the Aether Beauty Desert Sunset palette versus the It's Belle Cosmetics Flare. This was a little bit hard for me. If these were paired with other things, I think these both would be the palette I would pass on. I really love the center shades here, but the other colors are a little bit too cool tone for me. And then with this one, I just haven't used it yet, but because this looks more fun, I will be keeping this one. Next, you might be surprised, this is the Odin's Eye Soul Mon 2 palette, and it is battling it out with ColourPop What Dreams Are Made Of. I am picking the ColourPop. I really love the more peachy shades in here. I love the different looks I created. This is really nice as well, but I just wouldn't use these shades as much as these. The next one is not even fair how easy it is. So we have Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes, which I don't know why I've still held on to this. I mean, it's because it's an amazing formula, but I just don't reach for it enough. I use my other Anastasia matte singles, and it is battling out with It's Belle Cosmetics Pixie Grove. Of course, this one is going to be the winner. This is a super fun palette. This is great quality, but I'm not into all mattes. Next, we have Too Faced Gingerbread Spice versus the Sigma Enchanted. The Sigma palette is not used enough by me, but of course the shades in here are a little bit more special. I think this is really good for back in the day. I don't think it necessarily stands out now, so this is the loser. I have the Kaleidos Astro Pink palette versus the ColourPop Rudolph palette. ColourPop Rudolph is going to be the winner. There's more shades in here. These are definitely more wearable shades for me, and I was really happy with the formula of this. This is really great as well. You just can't get as many looks out of it. Next, I have ColourPop She's Got Solstice versus the Natasha Denona Retro. I might surprise you. I'm picking ColourPop. I love these shades. I love this formula. I just was not as blown away by the color story here, and some of the mattes that I really like color-wise ended up being that crappy creamy matte formula, so this is definitely an underused palette in my collection. Next, I have the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions Volume 2 versus Natasha Denona My Dream. Natasha Denona is definitely the winner. I love the shades in here. I think it's a nice variety. These were fine. I wasn't totally impressed with these. I didn't think it was the most amazing formula ever, and the colors are just okay, so that was the easy loser. Next, we have ColourPop at Forest Sight competing against Huda Beauty Naughty Nude. Naughty Nude is the winner. I really love these type of shades. I think that this is a really fun palette. I just wish there were more shimmers in here. Next, we have the Sigma Alice in Wonderland palette versus Kaleidos Lunar Lavender, and Kaleidos is going to be the winner. Yes, there are fewer shades here, but these are some of the best purple mattes I've ever worked with, and the shimmers are really beautiful. With this palette, I really just use these 6 on the end. I haven't dipped into these shades. Next, we have Kaleidos Electro Turquoise going against Club Nebula. Club Nebula is the winner. There's more shades here, and I really love this last row, but I will tell you that if it wasn't for this last row, I would have picked this one because I really love the 2 looks that I got with this, but you can just get more variety here, but I'm a little bit scared of the top row. Next, we have a sad face-off. So we have ColourPop Sweet Talk, one of my favorite palettes of all time, and this is versus Huda Beauty Rose Quartz. ColourPop is going to be the winner. I just love these type of shades so much, but this is a great formula, and I love these colors as well, so I was really sad that these had to battle it out. Next, we have the Glamlight Dirty Martini palette going against Fantasy Cosmetica Druid. I'm picking Glamlight. I was really impressed with the formula. I love that there are so many shimmers in here, and this has more shades, but I also like the formula a little bit better than the Fantasy Cosmetica. The next one I think is going to surprise you. So we have the Anastasia Master Palette by Mario versus the Anastasia Carly Bible. I'm going to pick Carly Bible as the winner because the shimmers in here are more metallic, where these are a little bit more satiny. Even though I love this color story and this palette, it has such a special place in my heart, formula wise, I'm going to pick this one. Next, we have Pat McGrath Utopian Dream versus Inslee Rain Flower Moon. I've not used the Inslee Rain yet, but I'm still going to pick this as the winner. I am not that impressed with this palette. I think it's nice, but not worth the money whatsoever. This is something that I sort of regret buying just because of how expensive it was. So this is not going to be the winner. Next are 2 palettes that I was bummed to see face off because these would both have easily been losers compared to other things. But we've got Natasha Denona Love versus Pat McGrath Rose Decadence. Pat McGrath Rose Decadence is going to be the winner. I really love what it looks like created with this. I like some of the looks with this, but it's just not my favorite color story. I got this because it was on sale. This one is much harder for me. So we have got Oda's Eye Merry Christmas versus the Natasha Denona Metropolis. And I'm going to have to pick Metropolis because I think I get more use out of these colors. While this is more unique, I would get more use out of this one. And there are several more shades in here, even though there are lots of creamy mattes, which you guys know is not the formula that I enjoy. Next was another tough one. This is the Fantasy Cosmetica Rogue palette, battling it out with Odin's Eye Snow Dream. I think I'm going to pick the Odin's Eye because I'm able to get more wearable looks out of this one. With this palette, I really love the shimmers, but the mattes were not my most favorite. So another tough call, but I'm going to pick this one. Next is an easy one. This is Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde going against Sigma Corte Rosa. I love these Sigma palette. I love the formula of these, and the colors are just totally my vibe. Whereas this one, I use the top row in spring, and then I'm terrible about getting use out of the neutrals, even though Huda has a great formula. This was another tough one for me. And again, you guys might end up being surprised. So this is Pat McGrath Starstruck Splendor versus the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. I'm going to pick Sunrise because this is a little bit more versatile and the shades are really fun. I remember loving the looks I created with this. This was tempting because I really love the blushes, but I'm going to pick this one. Then we have Kaleidos Sashimi City, and this is going against the What's Up Beauty Dragon Eye palette. This was so hard because I love this neutral palette, and battle against other things, this would have been the winner, but this What's Up Beauty is just incredible formula, really pretty shade, so this is going to win. Next is Milk Cosmetics Gemini 2 versus Adept Cosmetics House of L. This is really hard because I loved these mattes in here, but I was really blown away by a couple of looks I created with this one. Going off of just my gut, I'm going to pick this as the winner, but oof, that was hard. Hey guys, I'm back to finish this video. I ran out of time before my session, so I'm sorry if my makeup looks different or the lighting looks different. It is hours later, but I am excited to dive back in. Something got mixed up with some of my palette stacks, and I went back to Wheel of Names and I hit the back button, and of course, like, then the whole like results like went away. So I made a mistake. I will know what to do in the future. So these might not have been all of the initial pairings, but still essentially the same thing. So we have Natasha Denona Glam Face Light versus Natasha Denona Bronze palette. I'm picking Glam Face Light. I really like the bronze. I love these type of colors, but I actually prefer the mini bronze because this is just like too similar, the shades in here. So I do like this one better. Definitely need to use it more, but it's so good for every day. And I really do like these face products, especially the highlighter. Next pairing is a little bit tough. This is the Oden's Eye Stone and Rock palette versus It's Belle Cosmetics Dawn and Fall. I have not used this one yet. I think I'm gonna pick this one because there's a little bit more variety in the colors, even though they're all shimmers. I love shimmers, and these are just very similar. So we'll see once I actually use it. I'm sure the formula is great, but color story, I'm gonna pick this one. This one is really hard as well. This is Adept Cosmetics Minka versus Sigma Ambiance. And I think I'm gonna pick the Ambiance palette. I really like this as a warm neutral palette. I like this better than Natasha Denona Bronze. I think that they're, you know, like all similar shades with a little bit more variety. And I do like these. I definitely need to use this more. I've said before, I feel like the Adept shimmers are really like interesting to work with. They're very mushy and are very dimensional, but just with some of these shades, I think I'd use this one more, but that was tough. The next pairing is an easy one. We have Sigma Warm Naturals going head to head with Sugar Drizzle Sugar Dreams. I'm wearing this on my lid today. I absolutely freaking love this palette. The shimmers are so amazing. Well, they're all shimmers. They're amazing. And with this palette, this is something where I definitely need to use it more. I really like these shades down here. These are fine. I just need to pull for it a little bit more with quality. It's good. This is just so amazing. This is an easy one as well. So I have got the Oden's Eye and Judy Red Dragon palette going head to head with Anastasia Modern Renaissance, and Oden's Eye is winning hands down. I've been obsessed with the different looks I've created with this. I think this is fine. It was really special back in the day. It's not so much anymore, even though you guys know I love some of those warm mattes. Oden's Eye is the winner, baby. This pairing is another challenging one for me. So it is Shroud Cosmetics, It's Freaking Bats versus Natasha Denona Zendo. I really did love some of the looks I created with this one. I don't love that the transition color is a cream matte. I don't like the smell. I don't like that some of the shades are similar. With this one, I definitely don't use the mattes as much. The shimmers are so beautiful. I really wanted to pick this one, but looking at them, I think I'd use this one more. Oh, that hurts my heart. I feel like I need to have like a bonus round of palettes that I really wanted to say yes to. All right, for the next pairing, I have got Too Faced Teddy Bear versus Pat McGrath Bridgerton Volume 1. I am picking the Too Faced. Out of this palette, I love this shade here. I think this is a really nice matte. It's a pretty shimmer, but the other three shades I could definitely do without. This one, I really love this when I first got it. I need to pull it out, but really impressed with this formula. Next is another tough one. So this is Kaleidos Flower Punk, and it is going head to head with Oden's Eye Hey Reindeer. I think I'm gonna pick this one because these four shades right here, the look that I got with that, I loved it so much. I liked a lot of the looks that I got with this, but I don't think any of them were like absolutely over the top, incredible, amazing. Maybe like one look. So I don't know. I don't feel the most confident about this pick, but I'm going to give it to Flower Punk. Another tough one here would be the Oden's Eye Jewels and Gem palette versus Fantasy Cosmetica Bard. There are more shades here. I really love these colors. I loved that look, but some of these shimmers were a little bit drier than I was expecting, and they still perform fine, but I was definitely bummed by that. And this is just like my quintessential fall palette, so I have to give it to this one. I know that Dawn of Fall is a little bit similar from It's Belle, and that one won as well, but I like this one even more. Such a phenomenal formula and great shimmers and mattes. So that one is the winner. And the next pairing would be Glamonatrix Nearly Natural versus the ColourPop Malibu Barbie palette. This is a phenomenal formula, but I am going with this one. They are just amazing. They're very special shades and really beautiful colors, although the ColourPop one is really good quality. Next is Adept Cosmetics Heather Austin versus the Fantasy Cosmetica Sorcerer palette. I've never used this one. The colors are really bright and scary for me, so Heather Austin all the way. Next we have Huda Beauty New Nude versus Sydney Grace Tiny Marvels. I'm giving it to Huda. I love those colors where the shades are great. The only thing I don't like in here would be that like concealer thing and the 2 glitters, but I love the other shades. And the Sydney Grace is a great formula, but I am just not in love with very many shades in here. Next we have Natasha Denona I Need a Nude versus Glaminatrix Cosmetics Rich Romantic. Glaminatrix all the way. I love the color variety in here. These shades are super special. I was not as blown away by this palette as I wanted to be. I love this shade in the middle. I love this matte. I love this matte. A lot of the other colors were just like meh to me. And next we have Lunar Beauty Nude Prism versus It's Belle Cosmetics Break the Rules. I haven't used this palette. It's going to Lunar Beauty. I really do like the formula of the shimmers. The mattes are fine. I wish they were a little bit more pigmented. Some of the shades need to be built up a good bit. And I think the colors in here are pretty. I need to dip into them, but I would get more use out of this one. We're on to the last stack, so I won't be able to hold these at the same time. Well, maybe I can. This is Give Me Glow 2 Moods, and it is going up against the Sydney Grace and Temptalia on the Horizon Light palette. I really love the formula of this one, but this is my favorite palettes of all time. Such beautiful shades, such incredible formula. This one has to be the winner, but it's sad to say that that is the loser. Next we have Inslee Rain Cosmetics Cold Moon versus Anastasia Nouveau. I have not used this one yet, but the color story looks absolutely incredible. It's way more special than the Anastasia, so this is going to be the winner. This is a nice palette. I am impressed with this formula, but it's hella powdery. Next is a pretty easy one. This is Cosmic Brushes Winter Wonderland, and it is going up against Natasha Denona Gold, and Cosmic Brushes is winning. And this is more wearable, so you guys see I don't always pick the more wearable one, but I feel like a lot of these shades are super repetitive. I wish that this was just like a 9 pan. I know she doesn't do that, but if this was a 9 pan, I think it would be a little bit more special. So I want to keep my collection for sure, but like I don't quite get the hype. Next we have Unearthly Cosmetics Lure versus the ColourPop Hocus Pocus Gather Round Sisters. ColourPop is a winner. I love the looks I created with this, even though there are just a few too many of the mattes with glitter. So good. And this palette is something that I can honestly do without in my collection, just color story wise. I think the formula is fine, the shades are fine, but not incredible. Next is kind of hard for me. This is Huda Beauty Pretty Grunge versus the ABH Jackie Aina palette, and I really love a couple of the shades in here, but haven't reached for it a ton as a whole. And this is a palette that I enjoy, but I also feel like I did not need to have in my collection. So I'm going to pick Huda as the winner, but this is something that is definitely going to get booted out probably next round. And lastly, we have got the Lunar Beauty 12 Days of Lunar palette versus the Odin's Eye and Makeup Just for Fun Flora Story palette. I'm going to pick Amanda's palette as the winner, even though I don't love the mattes. The shimmers in here are really special, and this has not gotten use out of me. And I think it just doesn't have enough pizzazz, but I also need to dip into it. So, woo, we did it. That was so much fun, so chaotic. I don't even remember which palettes that I have picked to keep, but this was round 1. I'm going to be doing all these back to back. Hopefully you guys are okay with that. It's just going to be what works best with my filming schedule. So, round 2 will be coming at you next. Thank you guys so much for being okay with the lighting. I just work off of a little TV tray, and there was no way that all these palettes were fitting on here, and I didn't want to drop anything and break it, so the floor was the best bet. So I might be doing the floor for the next video, and then the next like final rounds should be able to fit on a TV tray. But anyway guys, I would love to hear your thoughts. Were there any of these palettes where you feel like I made a mistake, I kept the wrong one? Please let me know your thoughts. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.